welcome to show number 5 featuring Bongi Number. I'd just like to thank our new sponsors. They've just come on board with Tasmanian Devils. It's Kismet Diamonds, KD Resources, and Stapuda, cricket manufacturer. Very, very cool brands. And of course, all the other brands that have backed our show for the last 5 shows now. This is the 5th show, eh?
Yeah, boy.
Bongs, welcome to our show. Lovely
Thanks,
to have you.
great. How are you?
Yeah, great in this lovely weather. Eh? Looks like it's snowing outside there, boss.
I didn't think, I thought that Africa was always warm, but yeah.
I think it's just because you're on the show. That's why it's like this. Eh? I eventually got you on the show. So, Bongs, tell me, let's tell the viewers out there, where did it all start for you? Let's start with your playing career and then your coaching career.
Started all in the West, eh? Born bred Westland boy, Randfontein boy, all the way from Mosageng.
Randfontein?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I played cricket. There was a small little school down in our township. There was nets there and we didn't know what it was. So one day our oaks thought, yeah, let's go have a look there. Instead of us, we started playing soccer in it first.
Okay, yeah.
And then we saw a couple of games of cricket and it's like, oh, frick, okay, let's try this out. So we started playing and then eventually we moved all of that from, because the school was so far away, we played in the tennis court. So we used to play cricket with no pads, hockey ball, and just a bat. And yeah, I think that's why I play action cricket these days. It doesn't hurt. I used to get hit by a hockey ball.
So hockey balls.
Hockey balls.
But not by me bowling at you, eh?
I don't know. Renat, if you go back and you think about it, I think my first couple of games at Premier League for Kagiso, we did play against Vista, and you played, I think, there. I mean, it wasn't pleasant as a youngster. It wasn't pleasant. And I think you had also another sneaky quick bowling opening partner on the other side again. I think it was Gerdy Brein.
Yeah.
I think that's
for Alberton.
That was Alberton, yes.
Oliver
There we go.
Lindster.
Alberton, there we go. So, yeah.
We had a proper attack, remember? Andrew Hall, Tertius Oliphant, Robbie Weir.
I think if I think back at those times, a coach of mine, Wim Jansen, I think he was setting me up there because it was one of the games that I used to bet at 7-8. It was one of the games that I betted up in the order, and yeah, I probably won't forget that anytime soon.
And Wim's at Saints now.
He's at Saints, eh? And again, I spent most of my time there as well. I mean, 2007-8. That's when actually my whole cricketing or coaching career started. Unfortunately, I lost my parents at a young age, so the playing stuff didn't work out. I had to look after the family. So from carrying bags to the Wanderers and trying to make it, I had to sort of like find a way. And in a way for me, staying in cricket, which was coaching, worked out for me. So spent a good 10, 12 years at Saints, and that's been the bedrock of everything.
Jeez, I didn't even know that you lost your parents. Sure. I've known you for so long, I didn't even know that. Eh?
I think I tried to use that as an inspirational bit. And I think it's also, I mean, the reason why I enjoy having older people around me, because again they sort of represent that parental bit for me. They give me that little bit of guidance, and it's easy to become a victim in our country, so I just sort of try and stay away from that.
Me personally, I think you've done extremely well with what you've done from where you've come from, to be honest.
Thank you very much. I think there's still a long way to go, but again, with guys around you, I think it will always keep getting better.
And then what pursued you to, okay, you've said it's about your parents, but what started your coaching career? How did it actually start?
I mean, Wim Jansen gave me a call. I mean, I coached a little bit at my old school at Randfontein High. I started matric 2004.
That's RAM, eh? They call it RAM, isn't it?
Yeah.
RAM.
Yeah, so coached there for a bit. I mean, I won the under-14 league in the first bit, and I you only played 5 games of cricket, which wasn't so great. And I ran into Wim again, and he was like, hey, do you want to come in and have a sneaky try at Saints? I coached a third team for the first couple of seasons, and if I could say it was tough. I mean, for me, that's probably one of the biggest memories for me because it molded me. I mean, I moved from a place where you stayed with your family, is really not much, to moving to a place where there's everything. I mean, I remember thinking and speaking to one of my mates to say, champ, you know, my dream car is an Aston Martin and this and this. And then a week later, driving to a match, I'm sitting in one. I was like, okay, now I've moved away from that. Now my next one is a Ferrari. A week later, I was like, yes, I'm now in this place here where there's a lot of money and there's a lot of stuff that goes around. So.
And did you have a car?
No.
So you drove in their cars?
Absolutely. That was me driving to matches. And I mean, at the end, it was humbling again for me, but it just taught me to dream a little bit bigger, man. You know, I think at the end of the day, what I've tried to say, that if I can reach it today, that means my dreams are not big enough. Yeah. So if it's daunting, that's probably where I want to go. So, I mean, one of the hardest memories was also having a matriculant drive me as his coach to the game. I was waiting for a lift there, and he was taking me to a game. And now imagine having to tell this youngster saying, "Champ, you're betting at 8 today," and he's just
And he drove you there. Oh, fair enough.
So yeah, I think it's one of my earliest fondest memories. And again, I think it's just helped me grow into the person that I ought to be. I think there's still a lot of growth, but yeah, I'm happy and really looking forward to the next chapter as well.
But it has taught you a bit different aspects of South Africa, hasn't it? Or Joburg, to be honest.
It has. I mean, I think in South Africa in general, I mean, before I got to Saints, I mean, the first flight that I caught was there.
Yeah.
All the parts in South Africa going to staying in hotels, I mean, it was all because of that school. So understanding what it means to be an old boy, I never thought that it, I mean, I look around when people have pride and say this badge, this means this. I mean, up until I left at school, then it only made sense, and I kind of started building that even with Kagiso now.
Yeah.
I've come back to Joburg, and that's the first place I try to go back to and try and give back and try and put a little bit of honor and a little bit more value on that badge. So I think that's what I really, really learned a lot of at Saints, and the brotherhood that they have, man. So yeah, I think it's been interesting but good.
That's a great story. I love that story. Did you work with KG at all?
Oh,
When he
yeah.
was at school?
Again, earliest memories, 14-year-old, walking
Yeah.
around lanky at school. Sneaky, always trying to do this, always trying to do that. And yeah, I mean, as a cricketer, phenomenal. But
Yeah.
as a sportsman, I think, I mean, that was the biggest thing. I mean, I think about his big, bright smile. He wanted to play rugby, I remember, and we had to
Yeah.
force him not to, he said he'll play on the wing because he's got speed and he's got this. I think he had more speed with the ball than
Then
actual running. But yeah, I think a good little youngster. I mean, very humble and well-rounded family. Also forced him to work a lot harder. I mean, I think if I look back, he's one of the few talented cricketers that actually had to graft hard. I mean, the parents used to force him to work,
That's
and
good.
he wanted to also do a bit of drama, which again, I don't know where it's going to come on to the cricket scene. I don't know if he still uses that.
Do you know, all
but-
bowlers like drama. We all like that. You batters have got it easy,
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I think that smile, I don't know, he's a smiling assassin. That's probably what I call him. I think that's where the drama comes in. 140 odd, and then you smile at a batter.
That's it.
Maybe that's where it comes in.
He's a great guy. I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah.
A lovely human being. That guy.
Absolutely.
He does anything for people.
Oh.
Takes pictures, all that stuff.
He's got time for everyone. I mean, I saw yesterday or a couple of days ago, he was at Disraeli's book launch.
Yeah.
Again, I think if he's got so much on his plate and he still finds time to do those smaller things, I think that's what helps him become, that role model that we all aspire to actually do. I mean, I think he's impacting the community without saying too much, and his presence is quite big. I think I say, if he's in the room, you feel like there's a giant in the room.
Yeah.
So it's one of the nice big stuff about him. And again, I'll say in the change room, don't let that smile fool you. I think the demands that he puts on excellence on his teammates also pretty high.
No, but that's
So-
good. It must be like that.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of those players out there that people don't think, but they're very good to people and good human beings.
Absolutely.
There's a couple of them. We
Quite
know
a
who
few.
they are. Yeah.
Quite a few.
One of them have done a video for us, so I'm sure you know who he is. Half a decent cricketer, yeah. And then from there, did you go to semi-pro cricket? Did you go to Easterns? Where did you go from? Or did you
no.
stay at Lions?
So I stayed a bit at Lions. I mean, I made my way up. Again, it's tough. Or maybe let me not say tough. I think for a guy who doesn't play first-class cricket, it's a different journey to a guy who plays first-class cricket. And again, and I think I'm starting to understand and appreciate the journey a little bit more. I mean, people talk about experience of having gone through ABC, which is great. I mean, us as people that are, if I can say, full-on coaches that have only got limited experience, we have to go through all the cycles, man.
Yeah.
I mean, facing a ball that's 150 and thinking about all the thoughts that go through that, and then maybe tomorrow having to come through and do it again. Totally different from me giving maybe an inspiring message and saying, come on, Renato, you can do this. And it's just not enough,
Yeah.
So yeah, I moved through the ranks. I'm a coach under 15, under 17 for a long time at the Lions. I mean, that's where, again, I got through to work with all these youngsters. I look today and I'm like, wow, I can see now why the journey, why you have to go through all of those, So I worked through those. I think I coached for like 3-4 years there. Then I moved up to do a little bit of Cubs Week stuff. And in between that, I did a lot of the SA camps. And that wasn't enough for me. So what I used to do, like the Aussies, England, India, whenever they used to come through, I'd volunteer to be in their change room. And
Awesome.
I mean, I've always done that. Now that Australians are coming again, and that's probably something I'm looking to do again. And I think that's how you learn, trying to maybe speed up my learning, because at the end of the day, you can't take away that playing experience. You can't take that all away. I'm very mindful of that, and having guys that have played next to me. I mean, if I can say again, last year, for example, or this year earlier on, I had Jack Callis Pankenstein next to me and 40 who probably have limited playing experience. But how we saw the game and how they saw the game, to say, but the players feel this. And we're like, but they need to do that. Like, yes, but understand what they feel, then it's easier for you to translate your message across. That's when I see the biggest merger and where the synergy comes in. So, I worked my way through all of that, and then went through to Eastern. So for the last 2 years, again, wow, what a journey again. Those 2 years have been tough, but...
With my protege.
Sandile Masangemi, yeah. It's been a great but tough 2 years. I must say again, I'll say what I experienced there, having grown through the Lions setup, I don't think you'll experience that anywhere, and if you're talking about growth, it's two ways of looking at stuff. For me, I looked at that and said, at the Lions, if you walk in and you knock in the CEO's office and you say, I need cricket balls, they understand exactly what you're talking about. You go through Easterns currently, we had to explain certain things, and you had to understand the value of a board. I'll say again, at the Lions, I never understood the value of a board. I went to Easterns, there was no CEO, and the board was acting almost like a CEO, and now you understand, like, oh my word. So all the things I had been saying all along and be naive, this is actually the role of so
no money. One's got money, one doesn't have
absolutely money. And it means there you work a little bit harder than where you would be saying, I've got a lot more resources in terms of my 15-year-old, 16-year-old has played at school 40 games. You go to the East, that 15, they don't play that much.
And only play against a certain amount of schools. Kempton, Marefulu. And I've played both. I've played first class for both of those franchises. It was big learning curve.
And again, as I said, I think the attitude towards it is the most important thing. And again, I'm grateful for these 2 years. I probably think I've grown more there than I would have in 2 years staying at the Lions. It's tough. It's tough, but it's tough and good.
It teaches you.
Absolutely.
You grow a bit of nuts.
Absolutely.
Or we can say balls on this show.
Absolutely.
Excuse the pun on cricket.
No.
I also wanted to just straight up say some stuff about Pretoria Capitals. I don't know, how was that? Especially with Jacques Callis, he's played 1 or 2 games, and Dale as well. How's the knowledge there? And 40 is an amazing coach.
I think, as I said, I tried to be a sponge as much as I could. I'll tell you a funny story. So I think before we played our first game, Sunrisers, we were all in Eastern Cape. So we get there, get into the hotel, do our stuff, and then Dale is like, Bongs, me and Jack are going out to go have a bit of supper. We want you to come join us. Jack's like, pop in, can meet a couple of my mates. Oh, okay, no, it's all good. I'm like, I see, nice oak, I mean, in the bus, you must understand, there's 40 seat, there's a couple of oak seats, and then there's Jacques' seat. Like the fourth one is Jacques' seat. I've come in a couple of times and I count 1, 2, 3, Jacques, and then I'll go to 5. So anyway, get dressed up, you go down the road, you get into a nice little restaurant, get pushed to a corner there. Again, I'm sitting in table here, and then I look around. There's Kevin Peterson, there's Mark Boucher, there's Vernon Philander, Mark Nicholson. I'm looking around like, wow. Yes, Dale Beckinside, Jacques Callis.
And
there's little old me here, And the conversations that are going around, it's like, you remember when you played at Kuala Lumpur, this and that. And it was just amazing, I'm just looking around at the stuff that they shared, and also just looking at how much prep they took in. I've always assumed, I always thought like the commentators, they stand around there, they've got a lot to say, this and that. But I looked around like they prep that they did. And
it's all prep,
it was amazing. Again, even there, Mark Nicholson and KP said, no, they're backing us. I mean, before we even played, they're backing us to win this. Sorry for choking voice, but But it was, again, an amazing experience. The cricket chats, I mean, I think we spent nights and nights of Jacques and Dale just having conversations. And I'm there again, having conversations about how it was there and there. And again, it was, for me, a way of them including me. And I mean, they were both present at those moments, so they didn't have to
They're
talk
very
about
cool
that,
guys.
you know.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like included me in that, and it was amazing, man. I think when it comes to cricket, all four of us, I think we were all good in our own departments, and bringing the synergy back was very. I mean, putting that team together, 40, how he just walks into a change room and is able to say, boys, this and that, this and that.
Yeah.
Amazing. And also his story, not too far from mine in terms of not playing, but having a group of good guys around and not being intimidated by it, and just allowing guys just to go. So the Capitals was I think, again, I look at it and say in January, probably the highest point of my career.
It's awesome.
You come again in March and guys like, champ, we're not renewing your contract. Same year, you're like, oh, shucks. How's that happen, you know?
Yeah.
But again, that's life, and that's the sports that we chose. And again, that's how you want to get better. That's,
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
So you coach with them. I had to play against those guys.
Oh, good luck.
I know them quite well.
Hours
Hours
and hours,
good luck.
Hours and hours.
He smashed me far that day. And played KP when he was younger. And he was like, just before he left to England, I bumped him the whole day. He was very cross with me.
He's also got I like how he expresses himself.
He's very good.
He's very good.
He's much like us, yeah. So,
Definitely.
I'll tell you a story as well. You said your story. So I played in the UK. I arrived that day, and the guys from Surrey, Board 11, phoned me and said, listen, do you want to come play against a pub side? I'm like, yeah, cool. Let me come. I've just landed. Cool. We need a bowler. Sweet, cool. I arrive. People are paying to get in. I'm going, dude, we're playing against a pub side. So I walk in. So I walk out the car. There's Range Rover pulls next up to me. Shoaib Akhtar comes out. Wazim Akram. I'm going, dude, are you playing for me? No, we're playing against it. So we're playing against Lashings. Richie Richardson, Jimmy Adams, all these guys. I'm going, oh, great. This is going to be fun. Oh, awesome. So we're playing against all these guys. So I faced Akhtar, I faced Wazim Akram, I faced them all. I got Richie Richardson out first ball and Jimmy Adams. That was a bonus. And then after that, a guy called Junior Murray. I don't know if you know him.
No.
A big West Indian guy, keeper. He smashed me all over that ground. Then afterwards we went to Lashings. And I sat, also, like you said, I sat next to Akhtar, Akram, Richie Richardson, all my idols. I'm sitting next to him in the pub, having rum, of course. Yeah. So you should know what happened after that. Didn't walk straight after that. So that's such good stories from two guys like us.
And it is. I mean, again, I said this game, again, puts you in positions, and if you're willing to learn, I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's awesome. Maybe the secret in life.
Hey, next question. Ooh. This is the one. So you're welcome to the Devils, eh?
Oh, yeah.
What's your expectations on this one? Becoming one of the senior coaches.
I'm excited. I mean, again, just going around, just doing a little bit of research again, watching the youngsters that have played, watching how you guys did well again, watching the juniors. I think for me, that's the biggest thing. I mean, that's what mostly attracts me to this, the Devils franchise, is because of the junior setup. I mean, I look how rich that is, because if you're doing well at the bottom, you know that you can have a long success. You know, I'm looking at even your senior side, or our senior side now, if I can say.
Our senior side.
It's quite young. But again, when you're looking at the talent, you're looking at the skill level, I mean, it means that you can do well for a sustainable period of time. So I'm really looking forward to, again, just coming in and adding a little bit of value wherever I can, and learning as much as I can again. I mean, I think your journey takes you through different circles, and there's different things that get emphasized, you know. And at the moment, I'm looking at these youngsters, and I know we always talk about fearless cricket. We always talk about this and that. And I'm looking ahead, and I'm looking at the 2027 World Cup in South Africa, and I'm thinking how many of our Oaks can sneak into that, you know. So
there's a couple, I think.
Again, I think it's maybe a small little undercovered ambition, and then we look at it in 2027 and we smile and say, this is where, again, this is how it all started. And
especially me and you, we work closely with those players individually.
Absolutely, and I think that's key. I mean, the mindset. I'm watching how those youngsters have grown from school and playing in a tournament like this in the LPL for 2 years. You have a conversation with them now, it's a completely different conversation, you know.
They dominate the first class players that are playing in the circuit, and they're just coming into first class cricket.
And you wonder, I mean, how good they can really be. So I'm excited. I mean, I look at that pool, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I mean,
let me put you on the spot here. Who's your top 6 in that pool? Let's go batters.
Top 6. I don't know. I think for the other LPL sides, it's going to be really difficult getting through the top 4. So
our top 4. Maybe our top 2.
I think that's going to be really difficult. But again, I'm not going to let the rabbit out the hat yet. I think we do have a few conversations to have a few this and that. But again, I think as you've always said, in terms of cricket, is the only thing that determines how you play is conditions. So I think we'll try and maximize whatever conditions are in front of us, and if it means we score a couple of scores above 250, so be it. So
I still haven't answered my question. Tell me some players there, Bongs.
Come
on.
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, I think for me the biggest one that I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, he went last year to Dubai. I mean, to the Night Riders. I'm looking forward to seeing how Connor goes around. Again, having to seen him as a 15-year-old and watching him getting disappointed under 17, under 19.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there was a brief spell in his whole career to say, thinking maybe I should quit, and to see how he's come through now. You know, I mean, it's incredible.
A good manager.
I think
No,
his
he's
support
joking.
staff is gone. His support
He's
staff
got
is
a-
gone. I
he's got a
think so.
good support
No,
staff,
I think so. I look at a guy like Braden Shaper again. Same.
Gun.
Again,
But unfortunately, he'll never play for South Africa. He wants to play for England.
and I think about it and say our job is to produce international cricketers.
Correct.
You know, and again, I've had a
He'll
couple of
definitely
guys
play.
that have gone through. I mean,
He'll definitely play Test cricket. Definitely.
I look again his mindset. I look at how his commitment to his craft, and again, for me,
Proper.
his outlook, good. And again, if you look behind the support structure, also good. You know, so I look at those two are my
Ronnie?
biggest, and then Ronan Herman. I think probably in the last bit as well. Probably guys don't know what they have in him. I mean, again, as a 15-year-old, I picked him as a 14-year-old from Noordjevel into under 15 side in Gauteng. Again, it's a big thing because, again, traditionally we know where cricket has come from, Cares, Saints, you know. But again, as I say, for me, certain attributes that win you matches, you don't find them.
And he's on form now. He's on proper form.
I saw he banged a few hundreds, and
But
and again-
playing, not slogging, but
Yeah.
proper cricket shots. Scooping, lapping. He lapped CJ King for 6 off a no ball free hit over his head, over the keeper's head. He just went, took. Now that kid's something special.
no, and
I think last year, last year, he had too many batters around him in the under 19s, so he didn't have to perform.
yes,
This year, it was just him.
he carried that.
Just
He
that
carried
guy
that.
was.
And again, I mean, I've
And he'll
had
be in
the-
our senior setup. of course.
no, that's exciting again.
And
I
where's he
mean,
going to bat? Now there's our headache. Eh?
I think at the
We
the
still got
guys
Heinrich,
the
Peter
guys
Sir?
ooh,
Jared Alder?
HP
Jared Alder?
Oh, HP.
So
think
good
that's-
luck. Other
That's,
franchises.
that's I think HP. That's also another one. I think. I mean, if you look at
He's
maybe
proper,
a little bit of those two, because I've got a little bit of history with them again. I look at last year or 2 years ago when young Ronan didn't make that final squad for the World Cup. I mean, he went as a travelling reserve, but we had nice conversations around should he be playing, because the team went earlier to the West Indies. Should he be playing in that Kaya Majola week or not? And I think as well, for me, he's one guy that does not mind saying, I'll put my skill out there and let my skill do the, you know.
do
It's
the
always an
talking.
easier way of saying, you know what, everyone knows me, so I can use what I've done to get around. But he's like, you know what, put me on the platform, let me play. I mean, in this under 19 bit now, I'm sure you could have said, nah, I've done this, you know, I don't want to, I'm going to wait for the senior bit. But there he's done again, and he's done that. And again, I think that's going to count a lot down the line. I mean, that
Lovely
HP
human being.
that
lovely.
HP contract is going to be good as well for him.
He's a lovely human being,
Ah.
that guy.
I think as well.
Love
the
that kid.
support structure again.
Yeah,
I'm going
he's
back
got-
to that.
yeah.
It's very key in this sport here, where I mean 75% of it is based around failure, and all of us demand excellence and performance. I think you do need that strong support structure. So
But you need to fail to go up, don't you?
absolutely,
Need to go down to go up.
absolutely. And I think for the responsibility on me, you and me, it's just making sure that again we offer them that support while we're still demanding those performances out of them. You know.
And I think they know they've got, especially our support, they've got 100,000%.
absolutely. And
I'm going to throw another one out there.
Yeah.
Christopher, what do you think about him? Pretorius.
ooh, Chris Pretorius.
Pistorius, sorry.
Uh,
Lefty. Very
underrated again.
underrated cricketer.
Underrated, and again, I'll say again, it's unto us to unleash new oaks. I mean, having a conversation with you behind closed doors of saying, you know, you want raw talent, you want guys that have not played, you want to expose guys, and I think if that's our attitude towards all of this, that's going to be key. You know,
Yeah.
I look at a guy like him. It's unto you and me to create the perfect platform for him to flourish, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of players come in and we know that they can perform a certain skill, but we don't set it all up. And
Yeah.
I think for us to say we're going to have a real impact in the players, to make sure that we've set it all up. It's if I play, for example, I mean, I used to think of myself as a nitty little cricketer, and I always used to get stuck whenever I walked in when the score was 120 for 1.
Yeah.
We walk in at 3 of 20 overs, you're like, what do I do now? But you put me in there at 0 for 1, I know exactly what to do, you know.
Yeah.
So I think for us, it's also about just finding out our players, and a guy like Chris, what makes him tick? When does he go best? Does he go best when we're under the pump, when we're on top? And once we get all of that going, I think, again, we're going to have 12, 13 headaches to pick from every single time. So
Headaches is good, eh?
and I think for him, the challenge is onto him to say, I think here's a season for him to stand up.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so. Another topic I wanted to talk about quickly, Black African players. Where are they going? I don't see a lot of them around.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
strange for me. I want to pick a lot of them, but
yeah.
they don't commit.
I think that's
be
also a combination of stuff. Again, for me, I mean, I look at it and I look at, it's not too far in terms of history when I played and when these orcs are playing. I mean, when I played, we had like 3 players of color,
Yeah.
and it could be anyone, you know. So our pool was bigger, but you had to be better than everyone, you know. And now in our current system, I mean, it says we need 3 Black Africans and then 3, or maybe let's say 6 players of color, you know,
Yeah.
and 3 that have to be Black African. And for me, my question has always been like the exposure to the game in terms of how many of our Black Africans are playing the game for us to pick from, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, our pool is so small. That's a difference. And when the pool is so small, everyone is trying to maybe work with or get the next best oak. So the
Yeah.
guy who's good just plateaus, you know. Because he's good, he's better than everyone else in the room. We kind of let him slide because
Yeah.
he can, you know, he can slide around. He's not going to embarrass us. Let's find the next 2. So I still feel like when we're channeling all of our energy, the better guys don't get what they need to get because we like, you're okay, let's find the next oak. And then they kind of
looking
all
for
end
one
up,
superstar, not a general of 30 or 40
30
proper players
yeah.
to work with. Am I right in saying that?
No, no,
So I've seen that in the system. It's not working.
and
They're always earmarking one guy. Why about earmarking 20 good guys?
And again, I mean, there is a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of good coaches out there. And for me, that's also the biggest thing. Sometimes it's just about making sure that we're putting these youngsters in those places. I mean, before I walked in at Saints, I think probably I was an average human being, you know.
Yeah.
But up until I got exposed to something better, now I can expect a little bit better from myself. So even those youngsters, and in a way, it's I mean, the youngsters that get pulled into like your private schools, and I think that it works to a certain degree. You know, it works to a certain degree because in terms of the exposure, because they play more, they get a little bit more better expertise in this. But what do we do with that number 2, number 3? Because if you think about it, we always talk about a guy who was not necessarily the best, but years later they went on and they shot on. But if you look at how we disperse of our Black African Oaks, the top guys get given to the top schools, and then the second guys almost go to,
They go nowhere.
I mean, a
They
school
fade
that
out.
plays, I mean, I'll say, for example, you go to like a Krugersdorp High, you go to Randfontein High, those guys play 6 games of cricket a year.
And trust me, I got 2 boys from Krugersdorp High. They played for the Devils. They are proper.
They can play.
Proper gun players.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows about them.
No one will know about them. I mean, those guys play
But
4 or 5 games, and that's,
But trust me, I put a little bit of a stink there in CGL about them.
Yeah.
They know who they are now.
no, that's, again, as I said,
And they are
that's our
proper.
role. Yeah.
And they work hard. They're in the boarding house.
Mm.
And nobody knows them. They are proper cricket players.
That's, again, maybe,
And I think the LPL will show this to
Okay.
these franchises that we can find players like this.
yes.
And we'll support them.
And again, I've watched how this has grown over the years. Again, I've watched how players have gotten exposure. I've watched how top-ended players have played in the tournament. You know, and again, when the top-ended players were playing, I thought it was good. But now when I look at the players coming through, you know, I mean, I saw of I think was it the under-19 guys? Yes,
Yeah.
the current squad. I read something on Facebook there on what franchises they represent, and it was amazing to see that they all play
good, eh?
LPL all a lot around the country, you know. And again, I think this is a great concept, and I think it's only starting to bear fruits properly now, that because I think people are paying a little bit more attention towards it. So
And Bongs, awesome to have you on board with us.
No.
It's amazing to have you on board with me. and our fitness coach, Steph. Great fitness coach, that guy. So we'll catch you guys. It's the 9th, eh?
Yeah, 9th,
auction at Pizza Getty. It will be streamed live on the LPL Facebook page.
And yeah, make sure you
And
get
Bongs?
your Devils supporter shirts, and
Yeah.
make sure you pack the stadiums a bit. Come on.
Come see us at Old Parks and Old Eds. And that's over and out.